Good morning, Colorado. I'm Shannon. Thanks for joining us on this rather gloomy Saturday morning. If the NHTSA rule goes through as proposed, nearly all cars sold in the U.S. will be required to have AEB technology 3 years from approval. Some on active duty report that they've fallen asleep on the job, nearly crashing aircraft in some cases. Economists compare this to a natural disaster.
The wreckage of the collapsed Scott Key Bridge does more than just snarl this river. It blocks car carriers, cargo ships, and cruises from traveling in and out of the Port of Baltimore for some time to come.
This has a significant and a seismic impact economically, not just on Baltimore, but on the entire state of Maryland.
While this one ship was carrying cargo that fateful night, the company that chartered it, Maersk out of Denmark, plans to suspend all service in Baltimore. Baltimore currently ranks 9th in the nation for the amount of international cargo shipped in and out of here, with 52 million tons handled last year alone. Maryland's Governor Wes Moore sees the impact on the state.
We're talking about $191 million a day of economic activity, 8,000 jobs that are directly related to this.
Economists compare this to a natural disaster. And while most of Colorado's shipments are coming from the West Coast, experts say those shipments coming from the East Coast could be delayed by days or even weeks.
There could be an increase in shipping costs as goods will now need to be moved through other ports. But to ensure the least disruptions, analysts at the federal level will be monitoring the situation. The Secretary of Transportation is worried about the livelihoods of port workers.
If goods aren't moving, they're not getting paid.
The National Highway Transportation Safety Administration is looking closely at the improved technology that's being installed in new cars and whether it should be required, not just an option. The agency known as NHTSA has done it in the past. In May of 2018, for example, NHTSA changed its rules to require backup cameras as standard on all new vehicles. This new rule, if finalized, would do the same with automatic emergency braking and pedestrian detection systems. The technology automatically applies the brakes on your vehicle if a collision with a car, person, or cyclist is imminent.
Crashes and fatalities are on the rise in Colorado across the country. NHTSA estimates that this proposed rule alone could save around 360 lives a year and reduce injuries by at least 24,000 annually.
And not only will the technology need to be installed, but it must work, specifically to stop and avoid contact with vehicles in front at speeds of up to 62 miles per hour, and also to detect and avoid colliding with pedestrians at night.
That there's also an insurance component because automatic emergency braking significantly reduces property damage claims for insurance from rear-ending other vehicles.
Does the technology work?
Yes and no. Look, according to AAA research, when traveling at 45 miles per hour and approaching a static vehicle, the systems reduced speeds by 74% overall and avoided crashes in 40% of scenarios.
The overturning of Roe v. Wade in 2022 was a prelude to the significant case before the U.S. Supreme Court this week. Several anti-abortion doctors and medical groups are challenging the steps the Food and Drug Administration took to expand access to the abortion pill mifepristone, such as allowing the drug to be distributed through the mail.
Without question, the FDA's actions have made taking chemical abortion drugs less safe.
The court case involves access to mifepristone, but here in Colorado, 2/3 of the legal abortions obtained involve that abortion bill. That's why the state's attorney general says it's not that simple.
Taking the most reliable and a demonstrated safe drug off the market is a reckless act for a court to do. It's the FDA's job to make expert judgments about the safety of drugs like mifepristone. That's what they did here. Coloradans rely on this, and to force Coloradans to go either to a medical abortion or to a drug that's less reliable or effective, it's just wrong. And it goes against what the court said in Dobbs.
During oral arguments Tuesday, conservative and liberal justices questioned the abortion pill challengers on why a nationwide ban is needed if the doctors involved could simply exercise their own religious and conscientious objections individually. A decision in the case is expected by the end of June or early July, and AG Phil Weiser, who joined the case as part of a group of states filing an amicus brief, says it could have far-reaching consequences, potentially gutting the FDA's authority.
starts right now.
Good morning, Colorado. I'm Shannon. Thanks for joining us on this rather gloomy Saturday morning, the day before Easter. Some of the clouds in the Colorado Springs area, though, are expected to break up around the mid-morning mark. We give you now a live look, though, in Pueblo, where the sunshine is already very bright there. People are enjoying a great morning. And we'll continue to keep an eye on the weather and any changes that may be coming up. We'll be getting that full forecast from Julia Donovan in just a few moments. But before we get to that, new this morning, a traffic alert to let you know about. Now this one's impacting southbound traffic on I-25. This is between Castle Rock and the Park Meadows area at the Castle Pines Parkway exit. Now as you can see from this video, a lot of emergency response vehicles, and there is that overturned diesel fuel tanker. Crews are on scene now working to get that tanker out of the way. Meanwhile, the fuel has spilled onto the roadway, and that's prompted a hazmat response to ensure that the liquid doesn't get into the drainage system. The interstate in the southbound direction is closed. CDOT's warning the closure could be a long duration with no estimate of reopening time. Drivers trying to get back to the Springs will have to use a detour route, which will take them to Highway 83. This is a developing story. Make sure you keep tuning to krdo.com for the very latest on this. Police are searching for a shooter this morning following an overnight attack that sent 2 people to the hospital. The victims are currently suffering from life-threatening injuries. Police responded to the parking lot of the Lux Daiquiri Lounge just after midnight after reports of a gunshot in the area, several gunshots rather. Police say they don't currently have anyone in custody, and they didn't discover the victims there on the scene, but rather later at the hospital where they had been taken. Also new this morning, we're getting our first look at a Colorado Springs woman arrested in connection to an alleged money laundering operation. She's 28-year-old Brianna Zamora. She was arrested Thursday at a home in the Lorson Ranch area following a series of police raids involving mall retail stores that also led to several homes. Police allege that the mall stores, one at the Citadel, the other at the Chapel Hills Mall, were engaged in reselling stolen goods. The shops, Heroes and Legends and Heroes, are comic book collectible stores with a large number of items that were seized being Funko Pop dolls. In addition to Zamora, police arrested the shop's owner, John Vincent Martinez. Here in the Springs, a gathering of the LGBTQ plus community, marking an occasion of sad memories and also finding strength through a tragedy. The Q, a lounge located on the bottom floor of the Satellite Hotel, opened its doors last night, 17 months after that gunman entered the original Club Q, killing 5 people and wounding 25 others. Last night, a chance to honor the memories of Daniel Aston, Kelly Loving, Ashley Paw, Derek Rump, and Raymond Vance. But it was also a celebration, one marking a new chapter for Club Q patrons and survivors. KRDO 13's Quinn Ritzdorf was there. The Q's big opening night party went on until midnight last night. Now its new hours are 4 until closing time 7 nights a week. Well, do you pay the gas or electric bills around your house? Then this warning is for you. There's a new phone scam going around targeting customers of Colorado Springs Utilities, and it's already cost residents more than $20,000. This is how the scam works. The scammers call and threaten customers that their power is about to be shut off. And then they tell people they can avoid a shutoff by making a payment over the phone. But Colorado Springs Utilities tells KRDO 13 they would never call you demanding an immediate payment.
If someone is threatening to turn off.
Another red flag to watch out for: requests for unusual forms of payment, such as cryptocurrency, prepaid gift cards, or money transfers. If you do think you've been contacted by a scammer pretending to be Springs Utilities, you're asked to file a police report as soon as possible. We have an answer this week about what started that fire that displaced 6 people in Banning Lewis Ranch. Investigators have ruled it accidental and say it started with a heat lamp in a chicken coop. Now, you may remember this fire. It burned down 2 neighboring duplexes Sunday. And while no one was hurt, firefighters say 6 people as well as their pets and some chickens, weren't able to go back home. Tonight, firefighters are warning others raising animals always to see to it that heat lamps are secure and placed where animals can't accidentally bump them out of place and get them into contact with something flammable. Now, a former Pueblo detention deputy is behind bars, accused of committing crimes in his own jail. Allegations that he had inappropriate sexual contact with a female inmate. That jail guard, who was only on the job for a year, is 25-year-old Kiki Seto. He turned himself in after an internal investigation that led to an arrest warrant. Seto is also facing charges for introducing contraband into the jail. If Seto is found guilty, he could face up to a year and a half in jail, plus $200,000 in fines. Tonight, he remains in custody on a $50,000 bond. Some business owners are voicing concerns over a proposed new bill in Colorado, one inspired by that deadly respiratory disease that had a huge impact on pets nationwide. It will require places like kennels and dog groomers to notify their customers in the event of an outbreak. But as ABC's Annabelle Childers learned today, some view it as overreach.
KRDO 13.
This week, the bill in question passed its third committee reading with no amendments. It will now move on to be considered by the House as a whole. Now to the KRDO 13 gas tracker. We're sharing the lowest gas prices in the Colorado Springs area. Right now, you can find the lowest prices in Colorado Springs at the Shell station right near the KRDO 13 studios, which is quite handy for us. It's on South 8th Street in Colorado Springs. It's running at $2.72 a gallon. I was there yesterday, took advantage of that price. The Valero in Woodland Park on US 24 comes in second at a $2.74 cash price. Again, that is a cash price. And then the Sam's Club on Woodman Road in Colorado Springs is running $2.77 per gallon of unleaded. Now, you can check the gas tracker for yourself for the lowest prices anytime at krdo.com or on our KRDO 13 app. Just click the menu button at the top of the page and scroll down to traffic and click gas prices. And if you know of a gas station that's not featured on the list that should be, you can submit them on the same page under report gas prices. In Baltimore, officials are still picking up the pieces this morning. They're in recovery mode. The latest as the federal government steps in to help. And the race for the 2024 presidency, what campaign funding looks like on both sides for the rematch for the White House. This entire westbound section will be rebuilt as part of a brand new flyover with a much smoother curve. On top of all that, there will be additional construction to create wildlife crossings and also to create park and ride facilities and much more, including some slight improvements to the eastbound lanes. Data from the Colorado Bureau of Investigation shows an increase in violent crime in Colorado Springs, and that upward trend here in the city contrasts with data from other parts of the state where violent crimes appear to be going down. KRDO 13's Annabelle Childers explains these crime numbers from the CBI.
According to the Colorado
Now the department is working to grow the number of officers on the streets, and they believe that that will meet their targeted goal of 819 officers by the end of this year, helping to combat some of those crime trends. Well, Colorado Springs police hopefuls are working hard this week, training for the field. Just check it out. Police are sharing these photos on Facebook of the 77th recruit class, training in tactical and medical scenarios, as well as arrest control. Here you can see them practicing what looks like handcuffing suspects. Well, the department says the 78th class is also busy beginning taser training this week. Sounds a bit painful. We wish all the recruits good luck as they push on toward graduation. In developing news now, an update on a motorcyclist infamous for speeding from Colorado Springs to Denver in 20 minutes. Now, court records are now showing that that man is entering a plea deal with prosecutors. Brendan Deitzman was arrested in February after posting this video of him weaving through traffic, going at speeds of over 150 miles per hour on I-25, and then uploading that ride video on YouTube. Now our news partners in Denver say court reports show prosecutors filed a motion indicating a plea deal had been reached. But county clerks aren't revealing the details of the deal yet because it hasn't been accepted by the judge yet. If the deal is accepted, Deitzman is expected to be back in court next month or sentencing. Well, good news for I-25 northbound travelers this Easter Sunday. Traffic is back to normal this morning after a fuel tanker rolled. The crash happened around 2:30 yesterday morning, just south of the Castle Pines Parkway in Douglas County. Now, the driver was taken to the hospital with serious injuries. Crews say the diesel fuel tanker was the only vehicle involved, but it made a huge mess, spilling about 2,500 gallons of fuel on the side of the interstate. Cleanup took a lot of time. Colorado Department of Transportation announcing all lanes were back open nearly 12 hours after the spill. Well, if you still need to do any last-minute Easter shopping, don't fret too much. Some stores will stay open today on Easter Sunday, while Costco, Target, and Sam's Club are all closed. It does look, though, like King Soopers, Safeway, Walgreens, Walmart, and Whole Foods stores are among the stores that will be open. Of course, the holiday could still mean the stores have reduced hours, so it might be a good idea to double-check, give them a call before heading out.